Behind the Veil, where we unravel the mysteries of our modern world. In today's journey, we turn back the clock to the early days of surveillance in America, when technology was still a fledgling and vigilance was a painstakingly laborious task. In those times, surveillance was about as basic as it was intrusive. Picture an era when manually operated systems like license plate readers epitomized the cutting-edge technology of surveillance. These devices were indeed not the efficient, automated units that we observe nowadays. They necessitated a considerable human effort, demanding an operator to manually input each plate number into a database. Another prime example of primitive surveillance was the physical stakeouts. Law enforcement officials would patiently sit for extended periods, sometimes spanning days, inside inconspicuous vehicles, meticulously documenting the activities of their subjects through binoculars or camera lenses, a process both time-consuming and often monotonous. However tedious, these rudimentary strategies form the foundation for the intricate surveillance systems we are familiar with today. The world of surveillance has come a long way from these humble beginnings, evolving and sophisticating with each passing year. Today, we find ourselves in a reality where every move can be traced, every communication intercepted, and our lives inspected in ways that would astound the early pioneers of surveillance. As we shall explore, these primitive methods were just the beginning. The catapulting rise of technology heralded an enormous transformation in surveillance, ushering us into an era of unparalleled observation and control. A time where every act, every word, every step is under the proverbial microscope. As technology advanced, so did the methods of surveillance. In the blink of an eye, we found ourselves in the digital age. With this shift, surveillance methods took a quantum leap forward. The tools of the trade expanded beyond the physical realm and ventured into the virtual world. Our lives became increasingly interconnected, and so did the means to monitor them. Social media platforms became a new frontier for surveillance. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, these platforms, originally designed to connect us, became tools for data collection. Every post, every like, every share was a potential goldmine of information. These platforms offered a window into our lives, our interests, our connections, and our habits, all ripe for the picking. Then came the poll cameras, silent observers perched high above the streets. With their unblinking eyes, they kept a watchful eye on the comings and goings of the public. They offered a bird's-eye view, capturing license plates, faces, and activities, creating a real-time map of the city's pulse. Finally, we can't overlook the role of cell phones in this new era of surveillance. These devices, which most of us carry with us wherever we go, became powerful tracking tools. They logged our locations, our conversations, even our search histories. With a single device, a comprehensive profile could be built, tracking our movements, our communications, and our interests. With these new tools, surveillance became more comprehensive and efficient. It was no longer about intercepting a single phone call or following a single car. It was about mapping networks, predicting behaviors, and understanding patterns. It was about gathering data on an unprecedented scale. These were not just tools for law enforcement. They were tools for anyone with the means and the motivation to use them. They were tools that could be used to shape public opinion, to influence elections, to control information. They were tools that could be used for good, but also for ill. With a new era of technology came an era of mass surveillance. The internet, a tool for freedom, quickly became a platform for surveillance. It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? Designed to connect us, to share knowledge, to spark new ideas, the internet has become a stage where every click, every search, every message is a performance observed by unseen eyes. We're not just talking about your friend who likes all your posts. We're talking about entities that have turned the World Wide Web into a giant data collection system. Imagine an invisible spider spinning a web across the globe. Every strand is a data point, a breadcrumb of information about you. Your browsing history, your emails, your online purchases, they all leave trails that this spider can follow. It's not just about what websites you visit, it's about the patterns, the habits, the very essence of who you are. distilled into data points that can be analyzed, cataloged, and stored for future reference. Now let's talk about social media for a moment. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. They're not just platforms for sharing selfies or arguing about politics. They're gold mines for data collectors. Every post, every like, every share, every comment is a piece of the puzzle that forms your digital identity. And this identity, this version of you that lives online, is accessible to those who know how to look. But it's not all doom and gloom. There's a silver lining to this cloud of data. This information, when used responsibly, can lead to innovations in technology, healthcare, and numerous other fields. It's a delicate balance between privacy and progress, and it's a conversation that we need to have. Yet it's also important to remember, the internet is a tool. Like any tool, it's not inherently good or bad. It's how we use it that defines its role in our lives. We have the power to shape the web, to demand transparency, to advocate for our rights in this digital age. The very tools we use to connect with each other have become tools to monitor us. But they can also become tools to empower us. The choice is ours. The law, often seen as our protector, has sometimes been used to justify surveillance. There are two key pieces of legislation that have come to symbolize the legal side of surveillance in the United States: the FISA Warrantless Surveillance Program and the Patriot Act. Both of these laws were created in response to grave national security threats, but their impact on personal freedoms has been a source of ongoing controversy. The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA, was enacted in 1978. It was designed to provide a legal framework for the collection of intelligence between foreign powers and agents of foreign powers suspected of espionage or terrorism. However, the FISA Warrantless Surveillance Program, introduced after the events of September 11, 2001, has pushed the boundaries of this law. This program allows the government to monitor international phone calls and emails without a warrant, raising serious questions about privacy rights. The Patriot Act, signed into law just a month after the September 11th attacks, broadens the surveillance capabilities of law enforcement agencies. It allows them to gather intelligence information not only from foreign powers and their agents, but also from U.S. citizens. The act has been criticized for its broad language, which has led to interpretations that infringe on civil liberties. It has provisions that allow for the collection of business records and library lending histories, all without a warrant. These laws, enacted under the banner of national security, have blurred the line between security and privacy. They've given the government unprecedented access to our personal information, often without our knowledge or consent. This brings us to an important question. How much of our privacy are we willing to sacrifice for the sake of security? It's a delicate balance, and one that we as a society are still trying to strike. In the name of security, our privacy is at stake. The future holds even more sophisticated surveillance techniques. Picture this, an era where artificial intelligence and machine learning are the new watchmen. These advanced technologies are set to redefine the scope of surveillance, transforming it from a reactive to a proactive operation. Imagine a world where your face is your ID. Facial recognition technology is on the rise. And it's not just for unlocking your latest smartphone. It's expected to become an integral part of surveillance systems, scanning crowds for wanted individuals or tracking movements across cities. And it doesn't stop there. Predictive policing, a concept straight out of science fiction, may soon be a reality. This technology uses data analysis to predict potential criminal activity before it happens. It's like a weather forecast for crime, and while it holds the promise of safer communities, it also raises serious questions about privacy and freedom. But let's remember, these are tools. It's how they are used and the laws that govern them that will ultimately determine whether they become protectors of our safety or invaders of our privacy. As we move into the future, the veil of surveillance continues to tighten. We've journeyed through the evolution of surveillance, from its humble beginnings to its daunting future. We've seen how machines, once simple tools for our convenience, have morphed into ever-watchful eyes. We've dived into the vast ocean of the internet where every click and keystroke can leave a permanent mark. We've brushed the surface of legal complexities surrounding surveillance, from the Patriot Act to the FISA warrantless surveillance program and how they impact our freedom. We've also glimpsed into the future, where surveillance could become even more pervasive and sophisticated. It's a lot to take in, but it's essential for us to grapple with these realities. In an increasingly connected world, understanding the role and impact of surveillance is no longer optional. It's a matter of our rights, our freedom, and our future. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more eye-opening content from Behind the Veil. Until next time, stay vigilant.